All right. What's going on, good people? Welcome into another Locker Room Sports Extra. Glad you come by and hang out with me for a little bit today. We're going to be breaking down some college football. We got some good games coming on this weekend. Of course, everybody's going to be talking about Alabama and Georgia. Also, going to talk about Kentucky. We're going to travel over there to Ole Miss. Oklahoma's at Auburn. We're going to talk about that game too. And why not? We'll mention Colorado and UCF. It's an interesting game. Two very braggadocious coaches, I guess you would say. So, hey, let's just jump right in here and get started. All right. I guess we'll start with let's just start with Colorado and UCF. They're the lesser of the games, I guess. Starting up, we know Gus Malzahn, the Gus bus, moved down to Florida, down there at Southern Florida, actually to go down there and coach up the Knights. They play at they're going to be on Fox. It's going to be the 3:30 game. Mark Ingram and is Urban Meyer? Is Urban still on there? Urban still doing that show? Let me see what we got going on here. Nobody has nothing to say until I start the show. Then we want to get text. Sorry about that. People don't know what they're doing. I get somehow I'm in the middle of it, something for some reason. So anyway, let's get back at it. Thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out. Sorry about that. Gus at University of Central Florida. Right now, Gus's record is 27-16. He's 104-54 down there right now. They're averaging about 6 touchdowns a game and 530 yards. So he's going to, get done whatever he can try to get done. I guess I'll just we'll just cut the show off. I just need to come in and start over. Okay, let's try it again. Thank you guys for coming by and hanging out with me. Appreciate you stopping by. I'm going to do some college football. And 5 o'clock here on a Tuesday afternoon, we'll talk about University of South Florida. They're going to be hosting the Coach Sanders and bunch coming in. Tim Harris coming in for Miami. He's the offensive coach. Of course, everybody knows Ted Roof. He calls defense down there at Central Florida. Him and Gus known each other for a long time. But Tim Harris coming from Miami. Gus is going to call. He's going to call his plays. I mean, Gus is definitely going to be the one to get out there and make the right calls and make sure his offense is clicking right along. And let's see here, make sure all this is working right here. And they won 35-34 over TCU last week. They had 520 yards. So, South Central Florida is not a program of they're not going to get their yards, or Gus is not going to make the right calls. And he was a good play caller. Nobody ever denied him of that when he was at Auburn. Right now, I know there's some people just out there chanting and ranting about stuff. They want Gus back. Harson's record is actually better right now than what Freeze's is at the same point in their careers. But that's for another day. They did get KJ Jefferson. Now, I know we don't get to see them a lot because they're kind of not on. They're not on prime TV, I guess, so we don't get to see UCF a lot. So it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. Had 230 yards third for 3 touchdowns. I think he even ran a touchdown. Harvey's going to be their tailback to probably watch out for. He had 180 yards with 2 touchdowns. And also the Hudson kid, receiver, had 2 touchdowns. Pittman, another kid at UCF to be on the lookout for. Deshaun Pace, I had seen him in recruiting early. I remember when he was in high school getting recruited. I remember running across him. He's a good football player. I think he had 8 or 10 tackles down there at UCF. I guess a game against TCU the other day. So I'm kind of curious to see how Coach Roof brings up, defense to try to scheme in and out of calling the defense to go against Shador. A lot of Colorado fans, and I guess so, they're fans of that team. I mean, they're really high on Shador, and they think he's a first-round draft pick. And I mean, I know it's your school, but you got to be realistic. And I think he's good. I think Shador is a fine quarterback. I think he does a good job. And Coach Sanders catches a lot of crap, about how he may handle some situations and stuff. But it's his team, and as long as the kids ain't getting arrested and we don't know about drugs and all that stuff, and who's to judge him for what he's doing anyway. Seems to be a good Christian guy. And a lot of people, Jason Whitlock, just drowns Dion every week. I mean, this ain't supposed to be a Christian show, but man, if you're calling yourself, and Whitlock claims to be that guy, he follows the Lord and what he's claimed to do, and you just can't get on there and drown people like that. Like calling him out for how he handles his spirituality. I don't know. I don't like doing people that way. That's just not my style. But Colorado, hey, look, 38-31. They got a win over Baylor. Yes, I know Baylor's not great. But every time somebody wins a game, you can't say the other team that they beat they're not real good. Baylor hadn't been good in quite some time. Okay, we just talking about recruiting wise and that kind of stuff. I had RG3 there, and I think kind of since then, there hadn't been a lot of talk about them. Their coach, a bunch of crap went down, and a lot of people moved in and out of the program out there at Baylor. But win's a win, and Colorado's 3-1 right now. And I think they went 4-1 last year, and then or was it 4-2? Anyway, somewhere right here in this part of the season, starting this coming week for them is about when it started to fall off the rails. So, hey, look, the game against Baylor, they held on, and I think that shows some type of coaching. If you can get young men to stand up and keep fighting and not give up, that's worth something. It is. So Sanders he threw 41 passes, completed 25 of them. They do have some drops. 340 yards with 2 touchdowns. He did run a touchdown. Had about 20 or so yards. Travis Hunter, Travis is going to have over 120 yards. He had 130. And Miller had 71 yards and a touchdown. Wester also had a touchdown, and Horn too. He's a good receiver. So I'm curious about this game a little bit. I'll probably watch it, I guess. It's going to be on kind of middle of the day there, 3:30 on Fox, talking about UCF favored by 2 touchdowns over Colorado. So we'll kind of see how that turns out. Hunter also had 3 tackles, by the way. The Silman, Simon Craig, he's their guy, number 7. He had a bunch of tackles last week against Baylor. So, lastly, do you take UCF? They're favored by 14. You think Central Florida? You think Gus Bus is just going to run all over Coach Sanders? I mean, it is down there in Florida. I mean, I think Ted Roof's a good defensive coach. I think he is. Coach Roof, he's at UCF. I think he's a good coach. Shador's still probably going to get his. He's going to have 250 or so. But I think he has a good enough game plan to just kind of run interference and keep them from scoring. I don't see Colorado scoring any more than 28. I mean, the TCU game, was 35-34. So Say Colorado get about that. But can UCF score, more than 30 to beat Colorado? I'll probably ride with Central Florida there just because it's there. I think I can do that. All right, Kentucky, SEC, another contest for them. The first test, we've been griping about Ole Miss, and we've been bragging on Jackson Dart and saying how good a quarterback he is. I know, and we're not surprised. Young man was a four-star guy, coming out of high school. Stowed the ball around everywhere. I went through some of the stats and already knew some of this. They're number one in like everything. Okay, he had, let's see here, 1,000 yards rushing, number one, 671 yards a game, number one, and number one in scoring with about 55 points. He has 1,700 yards passing already for the season. So it would seem, just on the outside looking in, on the outside scale, it would seem like that if Kentucky could fool with Georgia and kind of hold them down, and I mean, they didn't even score a touchdown until late. And we'll talk about Georgia in a minute too. So do you think that Kentucky could hold down some of this high-flying offense that we've been seeing from Lane Kiffin? I personally don't think so. Ole Miss is favored by 17.5. It's an 11 o'clock game on ESPN, so this is the early game that you're going to want to cut on. And, probably while you're out there cooking out or something, or maybe, I don't know. Better hope you got a porch, because I think we're fixing to have a few wet days coming ahead. How do they rank up? The first time these teams played, like 1944, World War II time. This is like the 44th meeting. The Rebels are up in the series 29-13 in the rivalry. They did have a tie in 1952, but it's 29 Ole Miss, 13 for Kentucky. Old SEC type game. Ole Miss did get a win last time, 22-19 versus number 7 Kentucky. Ole Miss was number 11 at the time. Ole Miss, Kentucky at home. When they're at home, they're 15-2. That's just kind of how it's been for them at Ole Miss. It's I've heard one of the, at the Grove there, this is a great atmosphere for college. If you love college football and hanging out and doing that kind of stuff, they say that's the place to be at. Last time they met, 2022, quarterback was Will Levis. You remember him too? He had 220 yards. Rodriguez, remember that tailback? He had 72 yards rushing and had 40 yards receiving. Jackson Dart threw for 213 yards. I know he's still there. And he did throw a pick. Junkins, which is now at Ohio State, he went over 100 for the day. And wide receiver Heath, he had over 100 yards receiving too in 2022 when the game went 22-19 for Ole Miss. Yeah, they say history repeats itself. Well, the way it looks, I mean, Ole Miss just scoring a lot of points, but they hadn't really played a conference game. Okay. And 22-19 could be the score this year too. I don't think so. Maybe a 32-19. What do y'all think? Again, Ole Miss's offense, they rank like number one in about everything. But Kentucky, defensively, number 6. They gave up 876 yards for the year. It's not terrible. Ole Miss is 12 on defense. And I know they ain't played really a FBS team hardly at all. Kentucky's 26th in their red zone defense. They've only given up 5 scores now, but Ole Miss is 2 in that red zone defense. But you're going to say, well, Matt, they played Piggly Wiggly Meat Department. I mean, they probably have held them only to 2 touchdowns in the red zone. So Ole Miss favored by 17.5. Or does it kind of fit in your idea? What do y'all think? Kentucky's play. Vandegrift is just they ran the ball. I can't get any news. Here's what bothers me. We're supposed to be in this new modern age of news and technology and all this stuff. Why can't we find out if darn players are going to play or not? Like Cam Rising, like it's a darn mystery or something, like it's some kind of secret. You got to know it's the secret code handshake, and get your little metal thing and listen to the radio at 8 o'clock and listen to Ovaltine to get a secret code. I want to know if the tailback, this tantrum guy, is playing at Kentucky. Is their tailback back? Somebody let me know. I hadn't found anything. Like I said about Cam Rising in Utah, it's like looking at next week. Well, dude, next week comes and goes, and we don't see him play. And then it's the same thing again in the press conferences. I don't know how Vegas can pick these games if you don't know the players are playing. It makes it very, very difficult. So there's some kind of the numbers on it. It's going to be a good we're seeing a lot of first this weekend of, real test. Bama Georgia game, we're going to talk about it. And also Auburn, Oklahoma. I know Auburn's already played an SEC opponent, but Arkansas, they have they lost their quarterback. Telling Green's not bad. But we're finding out a lot this week. All these games. I don't know, man. 17.5. It looks good if you just pass by the score or you just pass by this pick and you keep up with college football a little bit. You're a passerby. You watch your favorite team, whoever that is, and you see Ole Miss scores. Come by on your phone. You're flipping through there and you see 63-12 and 57-3. Well, gosh, you think, 17.5. Well, good Lord, they've been beating everybody by. Right here it says number one in scoring. Their average is about 50 points a game. So it'll only be favored by 2 touchdowns and a field goal. I think Kentucky may have a little bit for them. I'm not picking Kentucky to win the game. I think I would take Kentucky. I'm just going to fall on that sword. And they may go up there and blow them out by 30. Watch. But at least we'll know. At least we will know. Right here's our next one, Oklahoma and Auburn. The money line has got down to 1. I read a place a couple hours ago, it was 1. And I seen earlier on a podcast, it was 1.5. So the Oklahoma and Auburn game has become a darn pick'em. And I don't know what Vegas is trying to do there. It's at Auburn, but obviously that don't mean nothing this year, obviously. They're worse. Guys, they go on the road to Cal and to Arkansas and win. They beat Arkansas pretty good last year and then come home and lose. I know turnovers killed them, but you still lost the game. At some point in the game, Auburn you just got to figure out a way to win games. Okay? No more excuses. No more talking about ex-players don't feel comfortable there. And I did find out that you have to pay. You get a discounted ticket price. So a lot of times, not unless you just spoke personally to the coach, like at Texas, for example. I've seen some players out there, at one of their games. Alabama, you see some ex-players come out there. Now, Mark Ingram's around because he works for Fox, so you can't use that. So, but there is a discount price. So it's not like if you're just an ex-player, there's just not a ticket waiting on you at the ticket booth. So Auburn, you just got to figure out a way to win. We can talk about the turnovers, and Gus can talk about his quarterbacks, and Bo Wallace can talk about what a piece of crap Freeze is for throwing his quarterbacks on the bus, which I think he is too. Just don't do that. Just go up there to Mike and say, we're trying to get better, and we just don't have a real good team. I told y'all this in the summer. And I didn't go buy a quarterback because I don't think just a quarterback is enough to fix the team. But we took a gamble. We hit the portal, and we got Lambert Smith. It's a good receiver. We picked up Cam out of high school. He's going to be a work in progress. He was great in high school, and he's not done great. But you know what? Honestly, what's up, Jeff? Honestly, when you start losing like that and a quarterback starts throwing picks, I've coached more baseball than I have football. I got 2 or 3 years of football I probably got, I don't know, many years with helping kids with baseball. It's like a kid that can't throw a strike. It's like they just kind of get in their own head. And I think the Arkansas game, and that last week talk about it, we got to move on. Auburn's got to move on too. You can't keep having Freeze on podcasts to keep talking about Arkansas. I think it's got in their head. And losing is just as contagious as winning. And a lot of your pre-annual teams find ways to win, and some teams don't. So right now, Auburn's just got to find a way to win. Auburn may not win another game this year. Freeze does not know how to coach his players. He needs to recruit. Well, he is recruiting. They got a top 5 class for some kids right here in the state. The key to coaching any sport is fundamentals. Yeah. Yeah, it is. You're right, Jeff. It is. So this week, Boomer Sooner's going to roll into town with this offensive line. I got drowned. If OU fans, if you're watching, pre-warning, because I just griped at Auburn. I'm going to gripe at you. You're SEC now. Hey, guys, it's fair game. I'm fixing to gripe at Bama in a minute, too. 2017, would rewind the clocks there a little bit. OU wins against Auburn in the Sugar Bowl, 35-19. That was Stoops' last game. Auburn retired him by losing to him. Also, they played 1972 with a win. Been the year my dad graduated high school. OU won 40-22 in the Sugar Bowl. 2017, Auburn played all 4 quarterbacks. Jeremy Johnson was the main quarterback. Petaway ran the ball for over 100 yards. Baker Mayfield threw 28 passes, connected on about 20 of them, threw for 300 yards, 2 tutties. Joe Mixon, which we all remember, old Mixon, he run for 90 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also had 90 receiving. So Mixon just blows up and just goes off and has a wild game back in the 17 for Oklahoma to beat Auburn in the Sugar Bowl. Now, Auburn's number 7 in this red zone defense. Now they've given up 8 scores out of 14 attempts down there in the red zone. Now these scores that they're giving up, red zone just means it's down there inside the 10 or so, and they're scoring from outside of that. And Auburn's not really giving up a lot of points because they really haven't played a high-ranked offense. This will be, I guess, Oklahoma's. Guys, is Oklahoma's offense better than – I guess it's better than Arkansas's. They ran the ball 34 times for 36 yards last week, had 8 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing. They're 101st in rushing. Oklahoma is. Average 128 yards a game. Average about 128. But they're getting about 30 a game. OU's total defense overall, they're number 28. Arkansas's was like 57th. They've gave up 5 touchdowns. I guess Oklahoma is their offense better than Arkansas's? Well, their second-team quarterback, Hawkins, had to come in and take the ball away from Jackson Arnold. And I'll tell you something about that. Coach B, their offensive line coach, I got on him this summer, and again, I got drowned by OU fans for disrespecting him because I said, you got some first-year guys there. I didn't mean the coach, and it's actually embarrassing. He should have just acted like it's his first year because Coach B, he's just not doing a good job. He's either – I don't know. Usually there's some kind of assistants or some guys around to help that are watching the game as they're playing and saying, Coach, let me give you an example. Offensive line, Oklahoma. I don't want to get too detailed, get the X's and O's. I'm not trying to get the grease board out. But when Tennessee walks, they have this, Perkins might play in the end and then your linebackers and stuff. The combo blocks for the offensive linemen, your guards and your tackles and stuff. Well, if the center's, comboing and they're going to go the next level and pick up a linebacker, well, usually the linebacker is going to be like a spy for the QB, and your end is going to play the running back. Well, Tennessee, and good thinking, they would switch that around some. So when Oklahoma's climbing the next level, pick this linebacker up thinking that he's spying the Arnold, he actually wasn't. The end was. They would switch this out, and it kept Oklahoma confused all day. And it made a big mess for Jackson Arnold, and he's the butt of the joke because the offensive line coach couldn't recognize that and fix it. They never fixed it. They never fixed it in the game. I went back and watched the game, and then kind of highlighted it, but then slowed down, and I'll go back and watch some of these games slow and watch the offensive line play because that's what I like, offensive line play, and I think that's where games are won. Now, Auburn's defense, they're not bad. I think their front three guys are tough. I think they play pretty good against Arkansas. They let Green get out of contain, but who hadn't? That boy's just an athlete. Okay. And that Arkansas-Auburn game, it's like they were both trying to lose. Like both teams were just trying to lose the game every way they could. So I don't know if I don't just see Auburn fixing this problem from last year. We've already seen a sample size of where they're at now. They're 2-2. I don't see it just being fixed this weekend. I think he's going to start Thorne, but one bad mishap, and he's going to put Brown back in there. Now, versus Arkansas, they had 5-yard carry, 430 yards on 61 plays, what Auburn ran. Their secondary completion rate, and it's 43%. So they're only stopping some of this. 12 out of 28 on passes. Now their offense has averaged 36.5, and that's 27th in the nation as an offense. 712 yards rushing this year. I've been saying that since week one. Look, if you're trying to recruit running backs, Alvin Henderson, if you're listening, I'm going to get him on. I'd like to get him on pretty soon. He's a running back at Elba. He's committed to Auburn. It's not looked promising to go to Auburn to be a running back. They won't hand the ball off. He just keeps pulling it and passing it and throwing picks. Thorne's just not a good quarterback. And, yeah, I know people are like, he should have went in the portal and I know, but he didn't. We just got to move on. Auburn-Oklahoma game. It's a 1-point game. I mean, how do they just – are they just going to fix their problem, like, right now? I don't see it. I just don't see how you just fix this problem in 3 days, You're going to do film on Sunday, then, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, practice. It's at Auburn. Thursday's probably going to be indoor. Probably not going to get to be out, so rain stuff moving around. Friday, and then, you have walkthroughs, and I mean, the game's here. I just think Oklahoma's defense is probably going to be too much. I don't think Auburn can score enough to beat Oklahoma. But, man, Oklahoma's offense is not real good either. But I think these young guys at Auburn, their D-backs, especially with Campbell out, with Champ Anthony, I mean, it's going to be tough. He's kind of was said to be kind of their vocal leader. I think Hawkins is going to start for Oklahoma, and I don't think Auburn's offense is going to be able to get through Oklahoma's defense enough to score enough to win. They may go there and kick a couple of field goals, and they may sneak one in here or there somewhere, but maybe 28-13 kind of game. 28-21, 28-20. Auburn kicks a couple. They got a good kicker, and kickers can make a difference in games. So since 2017, 35-19 was the score then. It was 40-22 back in 72. I don't think it'll be a 35-19. I don't know. I mean, if Auburn can figure it out, you can figure out their offense too. I mean, both of them. This is the darn quarterback bowl. They both swapping guys around, and you probably want to pick Auburn at home, but man, they've dumped 2 at home. So, with the way Oklahoma's been playing, I'd have to go with Oklahoma because look, how they played against Tennessee, and Tennessee's pretty good up front. Their defensive line is pretty solid up front. So, with how they played them, that's going to be not a hard to do if they can fool around and keep Nico at Tennessee, just to be out of the end zone just a couple of times. Well, you figure they could stop Thorne or Hank Brown from getting the end zone at all. And Auburn's not going to run the ball. I ain't seen them run it yet. I mean, how many did I say they have? 600-700 yards on the year? 712 rushing this year. So I guess we'll have to take the visiting team. Unless this is the weekend that they just decide to quit talking about who the quarterback is and they just shut up and just go play football and go win. They're thinking so much, and that's what I was saying earlier about coaching baseball. Kids think so much. They get up there on the mound, and you see a kid struggle, he's throwing ball, and he walks runner, and he walks 2 runners. Once they walk 2 or so, I've seen them you just got to get them out. It's done got in their head, and it's caused, and they can't get out of it. And that's where Auburn's at right now. And if they lose this game, from what we hear from Duke Scoops, go on Twitter, find his page, and watch the video where he talked about it's on Facebook. You can see where Cunningham came to visit Auburn, and he didn't see anything that impressed him really. I mean, it's nothing, Deuce Knight's kind of a night, Johnny come lately guy, kind of jokingly. He's not, whole real serious about a lot of stuff. So kids are already looking, to do heck other visits, or they're not coming back, to visit. And that's how you have to build it. But it's kind of a catch-22. To build it, you need the kids, but you need to win to get the kids, but you need the kids to start getting them wins. It's an impossible job. And man, these college coaches, now you don't just recruit. Now you got to try to keep the ones that you got, because none of these kids anywhere, those top 5 classes, LSU, Ohio State, Bama, Oregon, none of them kids is signed. Don't mean nothing. It's a tough job, man. And shout out to, by the way, let's give out old talk here to the one that makes our Tuesday college show possible. Warrior Gym in Tanning. Call John at 256-266-4333. Find him on Facebook. Get you a yearly membership. Nice clean weights over there. Clean place. Nice little tan bed and a stand-up tan over there. Find the Warrior in you. Call John over there today and get you a yearly membership. Man, I'm talking about like $150 a year. You throw in tanning with that. I mean, how can you beat that? So appreciate him for sponsoring this show. college stuff to be able to bring you Tuesday. And I'll be back Thursday sometime. I may try to record earlier, depends on what my day's like, and then I'll post it to come on at 5 because I don't know what this weather's going to do. I don't know what's going to happen. So, what we've been waiting here, 37 minutes. Oh, my God, it's way too long. I went way too long on the you know what? Alabama and Georgia. The war continues. Now, is this a big game for DeBoer or is it a bigger game for Kirby? With the remaining schedule that Kirby has, I'm going to say it's a bigger game for Georgia. And because they still have Tennessee, Alabama does too, but they got Texas and Ole Miss. Bama don't. Bama's got LSU and Auburn. Georgia has Auburn too. Here's what's fun. Now I like this history stuff. It kind of predates some of this stuff. The last time Georgia was at Bama was 2015. Georgia was number 8. Bama was 13. And it was 38-10. Bama won the game. You remember Coker and that bunch? And Lambert, quarterback over there. Derrick Henry versus Nick Chubb. And Ridley versus Mitchell over there at Georgia. But, you know, Kirby's never coached another team in that stadium since then. The last game he played over there was, you know, about during this time here. They played Charleston Southern and then went to Auburn and played the Iron Bowl and then went and beat Clemson for national championship. Kirby took the job at Georgia in that January that year. So the last time Georgia was at Alabama, Kirby Smart walked across the field and shook hands with Mark Richt. And Mark Richt wished him luck. And Alabama went on and won. And they played Charleston Southern, I think in October of that year. And that was the last time Kirby Smart has been at that stadium. There's going to be a lot in his head. He's a good coach. I'm sure he won't let it all psych him out. But there's going to be a lot going on in the head of old Kirby Smart. Think about it. Just think about that for a minute. Kirby Smart has not been to Tuscaloosa and coached another team. Never. He's never been over there and coached over there. He left that stadium. Last home game Bama played there was against Charleston Southern, and I'm pretty sure I think we were at that game. You don't think about that stuff when you're there. Like we went to A-Day, you know, last year, not knowing that's Nick Saban's last spring game. That's interesting. That's just something that weighs on your mind. Now, as far as things like injuries and those type things, Malachi Moore bumped his head last week. He run into Sab, I think, down there at the goal line. Probably had concussion protocol, set him for the week, whatever. He's back. I think everybody that has been playing, besides like Jalen Hale and some of those guys that's been out, and Young is still it's still out. It's a day-to-day now. They had him as injured, and now they're just checking him day-to-day. Okay, just day-to-day. So, but now for Georgia injury, they got Williams guy that's going to be playing on defense. So we think that Williams is going to be. I don't know if he's going to be back, and he is an edge rusher guy that. You want your main guys to play. That's big. That's huge. So, and Georgia's guard, Rutledge, he's having darn tightrope surgery on his ankle. He tore his ankle up against Kentucky. He's not going to play. He'll be out for a couple of weeks. So how's injuries are going to make a difference? Yes. It'd be kind of like Tyler Booker being out at Bama. Guys, you seen what happened against South Florida? Bama's missing the right tackle. It was a mess. It was. Somebody said, well, them guys was pushing Bama around up front. No, not Bama, just him, basically. They weren't pushing around nothing. They were just running right by him. It's like he didn't have a chance to block him, you know? But, man, Georgia's had recruiting classes. And recruiting classes, Kirby's recruited 1, 2, or 3 every year he's been there. I mean, just about. So, but replacing a guy that's had a lot of starting time at a guard spot too. And those interior linemen, dude, that's different. Not that playing tackle is not hard. It's a huge key position to keep guys off your quarterback, especially left tackle if the quarterback's right-handed. So how's these injuries going to play into effect? Okay. Now, I said earlier I ripped on Auburn some, ripped on Oklahoma some too, and Ole Miss and Kentucky. That game may get away from them, but I got to rip on Bama here. Why does Ryan Williams have most all the catches and like 200, 300 yards receiving? And we got 2 of the guys, Prentice and Kendrick Law. They got like 6 passes together. And I think Kendrick's got 4 or 5. Why is Milroe not finding these guys on the field? Now, I'm not the offensive coordinator, Sheridan. Is it how he's setting the offense up? Because I have watched people break down their film, and they talk about how they've cut the field in half for Jalen because they are using his legs this year because he is a runner. And they didn't do that. Reese didn't until after half the season last year. The first part, he tried to make him a pocket passer, and he's not that. He's not going to hit a 12-yard slant like Tua would, hit Waddle or Michie, and then take it to the house. They're going to run it. They're going to dink it. They're going to 6-yard it. They're going to 8-yard it. They're going to run it. Jalen's going to run it, and then boom, they're going to hit you with a big play. That's how Alabama plays football. I'm just bothered. Get these guys the darn ball, man. Kendrick Law is a good player. Kobe Prentice is also good. We've seen these guys play. They're not new. And I know Ryan is the hot target. And if he's just, the one getting separation and, the one getting out there, if he's the one open, that's the one you got to hit with it. Okay. Let's get those other guys the ball, Bama. Come on, dude. Now, I don't know if, is some of that by design because they didn't want to show the offense. They don't want to show everything. They wanted to keep a little bit of it hush-hush because they know that, TV, I mean, you don't need film no more. I mean, I guess you can, but, So let's get those other guys the ball. That's going to be a necessity. Those other guys are going to have to get the ball some. We're not playing Wisconsin no more. Bama's not playing Western Kentucky. Okay. These other guys have got to be able to be a part of the game and get the ball. I think running the ball, they're going to be okay. Between Jam and Hayes, they'll be fine. Okay. Now, matchup-wise, when you start checking off the boxes, Georgia's got offensive linemen out. Check Bama. Tailback-wise, the Frazier kid is done good. But we didn't see nothing from them last week. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't hardly throw the ball. I mean, Georgia's offense just has kind of looked pathetic. It just has. Offensively, Bama's 24 with 21 touchdowns, 1,400 yards, 466 yards a game. Defensively, Georgia's 4 in defense. Bama's at about 13. But Georgia just hadn't had any kind of offense, really. Now, Lovett is going to be definitely one of the threats to throw the ball to, most definitely. He's got a couple hundred yards on the season. But where Beck is good at, those 15, 16-yard digs and curls or something, Milroe's not. But Beck can't get out and run the ball. He's not going to he's not going to cut it up for 40 and get you a first down or score. But Milroe can. They're like the perfect, if they mix, they'd be the perfect quarterback. Great deep ball, perfect middle pass. But Beck has a super huge trouble with throwing the deep balls. It's over, it's under. And I thought about it and I've watched him, and y'all tell me what you think. It seems like he needs glasses or something. Does the boy need some specs? Does Beck not see good down the field enough to hit those deep throws? I even, it's silly, but I even looked for some old pictures to find out does he wear a glass or something, So I'm curious to how now on the other side, talking about defensively, between I already mentioned Lovett and Bell and Arian Smith, the explosive player who could just he's been to have some consistency to be another player. I'd have to mention him too. And Kobe Young, he's a guy that they always like to mention, but Lovett and Smith and Bell, as well as Prentice and Williams and Law, you got to have those guys. And Starks, he's their guy. He's their leader on the defense. And, he's a first-round guy. He's been playing 3 years now. He's probably one of the top deep backs, in the land. So, but he can't do it by itself, and neither can Malachi Moore. But I think those guys are going to be more pressed against Milroe. I don't see Moore getting pressed as much with Beck trying to make those. I mean, look, you can look it up. Stat-wise, the 20-plus yard plays down the field, that's just not Beck. That's not what he does. Like Milroe, he's not a 8, 9, 10, 12-yard guy. He's going to throw 5, 6, 7-yard guy or hit you with a 50-yard bomb. Let these guys go get the ball. So that offensive line, Georgia's is going to have to hold up. Whoever runs the ball in these games wins. Are we going to come out and see ETN run the ball? Is that where we're going to be at? Is he going to take most of the load? I like Frazier. I've been just really displeased with ETN. I just ain't been impressed. As soon as I found out he was going there, I thought, wow, man, he was ripping at Florida last year. And Georgia's got another guy that got hurt last year. Younger guy, but I don't think he'll probably play any. I would see Frazier he'd probably be your guy. But in this last meeting, in the SEC title game, Bama defensive line, Keenan, those guys, Campbell, Lawson, well, of course Turner and them, but I just can't see Georgia blocking enough to establish a run. The offense has just kind of looked anemic. Even against Clemson, it was later when things happen. It seems like they come off to a crawl start and then they finish well. And it being at Bama, if he can't get the ball down the field, Beck, that is, if he can't get the ball down the field to Bell or Lovett or one of these guys, I think it's going to take – they better score every quarter. Or if they don't score the first quarter, they better score twice in the second. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this is going to be one of those games where Georgia can come in here and fiddle fart and be on the road at Alabama and just come in here and it's 7-0 into the first. And then it's 14-3. And then Georgia scores late, and it's Bama's up 10-14 at the half. And say Georgia does get the ball back after halftime. And they have to settle for 3 again because Beck can't move around the pocket and really create anything. And, Bama scores, say 21-17, and then it's 28-17. Then Georgia kicks one late, maybe think get the ball back, and it's 28-20. Maybe that kind of game. But if Georgia can keep it close and score there again late and get in the head of some of the Bama guys and kick a field goal and win the game, win like a 29-28, Georgia wins. But I don't see that really happening for the fact of this Bama team, the ones that stuck around and made it work and didn't run off like a bunch of little girls. I don't play for a new coach. I want to go play for a new coach somewhere else. That's so stupid. They've been tested. And they've played some tight games. And I think that gives them an opportunity to understand that we can win in close games. We just have to keep fighting. And I think Bama can keep the game close. I think their run game's a little better. Hollywood is a more of an explosive player than Bell or Lovett. But Beck's got to get them the ball, and they got to be able to run the ball. And I'm curious. Somebody tell me, is Williams going to play, for Georgia? He's one of their guys, one of their rushers. Because when Alabama and Georgia usually play, they run like this, 3-2, 3 front, and then they'll spy 2 guys. Or if one guy takes that on a wheel, one guy may dump out. And how Kirby disguises his defenses. And I've seen one play where the inside guy, the tailback tracks out, and he drops to cover. They have a corner come down, and you think this linebacker's walked out here on the slot to maybe cover on this wheel. He don't. He's actually spying, and the linebacker drops back. And the corner out there plays the flat. Kirby's good, man. Let's remember who he is. Give that man his flowers. Kirby Smart helped Alabama win a lot of football games. And that's just one play that I noticed how he disguised that and how he spies Milroe. He may think there's 2, and then there may be 2 spies on a couple of plays. And then the next one, it looks the same. And then Sheridan, he's going to try to check out of that. But see, we've been seeing some of these crappy play callers for the past couple of years at Bama. And on call on defense, Kevin Steele, he's like 108. He didn't care about – and he kept Bama in the game last year. Now you got Womack. It's obviously done a pretty good job. But They're hungry. These coaches want to prove something. They want to build a resume. They want to have a sheet that says, hey, we can go out here and make a resume at Alabama and win a chip. It just boasts your salary, just boasts you up to go to the NFL. So punting inside the 10 is key, as a note I wrote down. Schumann, the defensive coach at Georgia that helps Kirby, they're going to have their hands full, and they're talking about it right now. I'll bet $1 million on it. Georgia's going to have to try to hit a big home run play from passing the ball, not from just passing it to running it, but you got to run the ball to set up the pass. I'm talking about 15 to 25-yard plays down the field. Georgia offense, you got a great receiving class, but where are these playmakers at? I told you a while ago, Levitt and Bale are going to have to carry this load, but what about these other guys? Okay. Well, we got some of these guys. I just got on Bama for that. You got to Law and Prentice has got to get the ball. You got to figure out a way for them to get the ball in their hands. Speed sweeps. Look for Bama to stay off center. Those kind of things can keep those linebackers, those spies I was talking about a while ago, those kind of plays can keep Kirby and Schumann guessing and how they're going to spy him or how they're going to try to work this middle of the defense. And, hey, can Milroe hit those curls and digs? Can he hit a few back shoulder plays? Guys, I'm telling you, if he can hit a few of those and grab some curls down here, just 8-yard outs. Second 5, run 8-yard curls, just comebacks. He can hit 3 or 4 of them, 2 or 3 back shoulder plays up over on the sideline. And he can hit the deep balls because he's just got great timing. He's got the arm, man. That's deep balls is about timing and arm strength. He's got that. But that pitter patter of the feet, how you set your feet, that 1, 2, 3 pop, that's how you hit those quick passes. My chair keeps going down. I got to fix it. Can he do that? Just a few. Those kind of things in a win over Georgia, if they beat them by 20, if Bama goes there and beats them by 2 touchdowns, and Milroe can put that kind of stuff together, it'll definitely be on the Heisman list. He will definitely be on there. Now we talked about Georgia rush 3, spy 2 for Milroe. That's kind of about it, guys. And who do we like to win the game? I just hadn't been impressed with Georgia. I'm not overly excited about Bama. Just kind of in general, who's really been exciting this year? Let's just be honest. I gave you a list a while ago I put on Facebook for top 3 guys for Heisman right now. Cam Ward's leading that. I'm going to take Bama in the game. Does Milroe have happy feet? I don't think so. I think that first time we seen him play, man, this chair's driving me crazy. I think the first time we seen him play, I think he did, but nobody's going to give DeBoer credit because there's just so many haters out there. You can't say anything good about an Alabama player being good. You can't say anything about an Alabama coach being good. Or you're an Auburn hater. Well, you bash Auburn all the time. Is that all you got to do? No, it's just important news. Just telling you what I hear. But they're sensitive ears because they've been a drowned rat program for 200 years. And they're constantly reminded of it every time they look in the news about how bad they are now and how bad they were last year, and they're worse. And they squawked all summer about the Freeze 5 and how great they were going to be. That's all we heard all summer. And I tried to tell people, I said, they're not going to be that good. They'll win 6 or 7 games. So I have to be careful about – I can't say anything positive about DeBoer. Okay, I'm a Colorado fan right now. Let's think about DeBoer. DeBoer's done a good job with Milroe. To answer your question, Jeff. And some of that mid-game stuff, well, he can't throw it. He's still not a 12-yard passer, Matt. That's not his game. Carson Beck can't throw a deep ball. Right, that's not his game. He don't have to. Kirby's going to try to run the ball and play defense because Beck's smart. When he goes to the line and he starts checking out of stuff, he's got an intelligent football mind. So there's difference in the things. But I don't think Milroe really has happy feet. Last year there was time, but, I mean, when you're just getting rushed and you run around for your life, I don't know, what are you supposed to do? And he's just athletically gifted enough. He's just bigger, stronger, and faster than any of the skill guys that he's going to face at Georgia. None of them guys are 6'3", 6'4", run 4.3 40s and, pick up 400 or 500 pounds. He's just bigger and faster than them. So how Starks leads the defense and how Moore runs their D-back, Jahad Campbell, Overton, these guys have been eating. Williams, is he going to be a part of Georgia's defensive rush? I'm curious. But I'm trying not to weigh Kentucky in on my pick, but I just think Bama seems more grouped. I like how they play together. I like how the defense team tackles. And special teams, though, I think Makumba's going to be taking punts back. And he is electric. I watched him play high school. He's good. Man, I don't know why he wouldn't return punts anyway. He's talking about putting Ryan back there. I wouldn't. I know, just remember he's young, but Ryan's 175 pounds? These old boys he's fixing to play Saturday. Wisconsin's got guys as big as them. I don't think they're as fast, though, as Georgia. He's going to meet some guys Saturday that at least Starks for sure. He's never played against nothing like that. Even high school, I know he played over here. But Starks, he's different. When he sees him running and putting them feet up and down and them that Georgia helmet coming, he'll make a mess of Ryan Williams. I'm telling you, he's good. I'm giving props to Georgia's defense. Kirby don't have no joke guys playing around back there. But there's just him really. And there are other guys. They have some guys that are kind of young, but anyway, I like Bama. I think they'll get them I think they'll beat them by a touchdown. Now, just a few other scores and who's picked favorite in some of these other games I'll probably be watching through the day, kind of interested in. Again, thank y'all for coming by and hanging out. And I want to do about 40 minutes or so, and I went over. It's all right. Louisville, like their quarterback play. But Notre Dame is favored by 4.5. I'm just would nearly take Louisville. I'm just really curious to how that's going to turn out. Also, Illinois is going to be at Penn State. Penn State's favored by a lot. I think that will probably go the way of the Nittany Lions. Oakley State at K-State. K-State's favored by 4.5. Oklahoma State's just not impressed me. I don't know what it is. Gundy and I don't know. Ollie Gordon was like some people. I thought I was going to be cute this summer, and he's going to, be my dark horse Heisman pick. Nobody was talking about him. Just me and one other person I'd even seen talk about him. Well, I missed that one. I missed North Carolina State too. Hey, when I'm wrong, I'll tell you right up. I was flat wrong. North Carolina State, McCall throwing all the football all over the nation for 84,000 yards, coming to North Carolina State with this special player that they've got, run the ball and play the ball so well. Concepcion, defense is not bad. They brought one of their guys back. It's like an All-American. They're just not it. Ding. I was wrong. This shows you I can admit. I can tell you. I missed it. Ollie Gordon missed it. Missed it. Virginia Tech, I had them at 8 wins. I don't know, man. I don't know how that's going to turn out either. Mississippi State's at Texas. Texas favored by about 40. We're talking about Kentucky at Ole Miss. Virginia Tech at Miami. Miami's favored by 17.5. It's on a Friday night. It's at Miami on Friday. I may assume I don't know how. Well, I think the storm's going to make landfall. It's going to be up here by Friday because it's fixing to hit land like tomorrow. So the game at Miami, we'll have to see weather-wise how that turns out. Yeah, Oklahoma State. Can Virginia Tech give them – well, I thought their old quarterback, man. I was up on him too. Arizona at Utah. The Utes, another Big 12 game, is favored by 11.5. And who knows if Cameron Rising's playing because it's a secret. And you don't get to know. And nobody does. Wisconsin's at USC. Trojans, spoiled children, are favored by 2 touchdowns. Big Ten matchup. Wisconsin going out there. I'm going to tune in. I like to run by that because I've seen how they matched up with Bama. Kind of like to see how they match up there. Oklahoma said they were favored by 2.5. And by the time I wrote notes, it's favored by 1.5. Arkansas at A&M. The battle of the quarterbacks. A&M's favored by 5.5. Good SEC game. Don't be surprised. Arkansas was just a play or two away, man, from winning some games, some real games. I mean, I know they beat Auburn. At Auburn, that's a good win. At Auburn, after they dumped you last year with KJ Jefferson. How does Auburn lose to Arkansas after they beat them last year over there? We ain't got no receivers. It's a problem. Idiot won't get no. Okay, we'll go get some receivers. We got you, Thompson, and which he ain't done anything. Lambert Smith's done good. Yeah, Cam Coleman, best in the nation. Best you've ever seen in your life. Ranked above Ryan Williams. You idiot. Don't you know anything? Well, the ball's hitting his hands. It's tipping up there, and other teams are catching them. I just don't know how they lose these games that they won last year. I'm just confused. I can't understand. I mean, it's like I'm an Auburn fan because the way it bothers me, I can't figure it out. I like knowing, figuring out things, and I can watch games and see stuff, figure out. I can't figure this out. The coach is an idiot, or the players are not being coached well, or they're being coached and they're not doing what their coaches are telling them to do. They got a bad problem in the program. And Freeze is either working on fixing it, and it's taking longer than what he thought. And that's why he looks tired and bothered. Because it's been run down. It's like the old circus that you went to. You pull up there and it's been closed for 5 years. And the gate's kind of open. You push the door open and the chain falls off, and you walk in, look around, and there's moss growing in the water rides, and the Ferris wheel, it'll turn on, but it squeaks when it goes around. That's Auburn. And it may be so bad that you go to turn the power on, the fuse box just blows up. And that something's a problem. It just bothers me because I can't figure it out. These 2 losses, they won last year. On the road. How do you lose at home? So Arkansas at A&M, I probably will flip by and watch some of that. Washington State at Boise State. Hey, the Blue Broncos are favored by a touchdown. Boise's hanging in there, man. Wasn't they 25 on the AP poll this week? And Jeff, just for you, brother, will be at Michigan State. Now, Ohio State should probably win 56-6, but it's just another week for the Buckeyes. They're on a collision course with Ole Miss because they both play like one game. I'm serious. National championship should be Ohio State and Ole Miss. If you just want to do records, they're 2 higher ranked teams. They are right now. Gosh, I mean, they'll be healthy. That's a big part of winning. I mean, look, Bama's already got guys out. Georgia's got guys out. I don't know if their end's going to play. Williams, somebody tell me that. I don't know. Is Williams the defensive end guy for Georgia? Is he playing Saturday? Heck, those kind of things are important for Georgia. And Rutledge is out. Their right guard. Is he left guard or right? I think he's right guard. Jeff and you darn Buckeyes are just twiddling right along. They're like the fat kid in the darn. I'm talking about fairs and stuff. You got that on my mind now. Ohio State's like the fat kid in the bumper car. They can't nobody bump him and spin him around. That's what Ohio State is. Ohio State is the fat kid in the bumper car. I'll clip it out and put it on short. And Auburn is the old amusement park that grass has grown up, and you look over into the paddle boats and there's water moccasins in there, and it's just going to take, man, you just going to have to clean the park up. There's gum stuck all over the darn place. None of the BB guns for the prizes work. Speakers are all blowed out for the music. It's just a mess. The bathrooms are out of date. They got the old tin thing flat on the wall that you pee in. They ain't even got stand-up urinals. It's in a bad spot. So there you go. Georgia favored by 2.5. I think we'll get off here. I think, Jeff, they're doing that. It may be they're trying to get people to bet on the game because Alabama has not been – they've been favored. And about every game that Nick Saban's coached except that first year, it's been years, 100 and something games. I think I said 113 or was it 117? 115 games about. And the other times when the other team was favored, it was Georgia. And it was 1-3. The last time that Bama was picked to lose was against Georgia. And Bama beat them. I think Vegas is doing that just to try to get people to bet on the game because people probably – you can see the game, man. It just looks like – looks like Bama's just got the better team. Offensively, look more sound up front. Their line is all together last week and this week. And they got some mean defensive ends. And they got some really talented defensive back guys. Between Red Morgan, those guys, Malachi Moore, Keontae Sabb, they just look more – they're more polished, and they look ready. And I still don't like Mike Bobo. I don't like Bobo. I've never been I remember working in Georgia years ago. I mean like in the late 90s or 2000. He played there. And I remember their fans just – because I worked around the power plant over there at Coosa. And I'd go over at Evans and stuff for lunch. And just being around that so many years, on and off for years, I can't – I'm just – and seeing how he – and his play call – either he's a bad play caller, like I think he is, and Birds likes him. That's his team. I think I want to get him on tonight, but I think Benton does that Northwest Georgia Scoreboard show. You can find them on YouTube and Facebook. Go look them up, high school stuff, Northwest Georgia Scoreboard show. They do a fantastic job in coverage. Great job. I think – it would just sound silly, but I'll say it anyway. Is there a chance that Bobo is just playing possum and letting this offense just kind of we don't have to run all this stuff. And he's calling in the headset, and Kirby's saying, bro, I know you want to be vanilla against Kentucky. But that's not it, because you go back years and years and years, Georgia just don't match up. Something about the air. When the Bulldogs breathe the air in Kentucky, they can't play football. They just go, football, what is that? They don't even know what's going on. They can't play football up in Kentucky. Now that Kentucky goes down there and they beat the crap out of them. They beat them by 30. But the Bulldogs tear off up in Kentucky, brain dead, years, different coaches, totally different players, totally different. It's crazy. So you think, well, is Bobo just playing dumb and not showing their full hand? I don't think he's that smart to do that. I don't think that would be that's not a good strategy anyway. You go in to win games, and you don't play against teams. You're playing against yourself, and you challenge your team in the plays that you call to be better and become better every week. That's the challenge of football. You don't play the other team. You're playing yourself. As coaches, you're coaching against yourself too. You install a plan during the week, and then during the game, you run the plan. Plan you work you plan. And the ones that win titles and win lots of football games and have lots of 10-win seasons, high school or college, are the guys that when we have this old plan, we got our old paperwork up here laid out up here in the booth. Plan you work you plan, coaches. Well, that's not working because they're not doing what we've seen on film. They run a totally different defensive front. We're looking for Georgia to run this rush 3 spy 2. That's what I'm looking for. That's what they've always – Kirby's done that. That's why running quarterbacks have always given Alabama trouble. Well, they give a lot of teams trouble. But Kirby had trouble with that. That's why Milroe got him last year. Adjustment. That's where those little trophies and those nice watches and those big checks and those big houses come from. The greats see a play and they're watching the game, and it's not just on paper. They're watching the game and how the kids play it, how the kids reacting, because you don't know, the other team may have practiced a little harder this week, and they look a little better today than they did last week against Wisconsin. Well, that's not working. That Zebra X66 jet, we run it 3 times. We got 3 yards on 3 times. Chunk it. Throw that play away. Stop running it. You adjust. Or you be a stubborn, hard-headed coach and you keep running the same play over and over and over and over and over, and that's why you're not a winner. I've seen it from high school level to college to NFL. The guys that have the trophies in the case, I watched them from small high school football, like 2A, 5, 3A Piedmont. Those coaches see something different. They call a timeout, and they bring their kids over, and they adjust. They fix it. The ones that just shoo off their assistants and won't listen to nobody, that's why you don't have no maps in the case. Not always. Sometimes you just run into the team that's just better. Sometimes you do adjust, and it still don't work. Because sometimes the other teams just got better players. But the coaches that spend time not just implementing the plays and spending all this time doing film work, and that stuff is important. And I used to break down film with a coach from somewhere, and he, helped me show how to find things and what things to look for, and offensive, defensive line stuff. And those good ones, they see stuff and they adjust. I seen a coach over here last year. So the team they were playing, they had a great tailback, and the defense coach over here, he adjusted stuff around, moved the guys, and he shut him down. And this tailback was great. He's playing college right now. They stopped that guy because he's seen something and he fixed it. So Bobo don't seem to like to adjust. He'll run that same play. He'll run it over and over. 3rd and 22, draw. Booyah. We'll catch him off guard like the last 64 times. What up, Mason? One thing people need to realize about Tennessee and Oklahoma last Saturday is Coach got off the gas early, so not to embarrass his alma mater. If he'd kept the air in the second half, they may have scored again. I just think, well, he wanted to run other plays, It's probably the offensive coach wants to run other plays, and Heupel's the head coach, and he calls plays too. He's a big part of it. He probably said, let's just keep doing what we're doing right now. We'll get up ahead a little bit. And after you get up ahead a little bit, they want to run some other plays. I bet that's what happened. Because they could see that they could score on Oklahoma. They're not going to blow them out because Oklahoma defense is pretty good. I think Oklahoma defense give them a little more trouble than what they thought coming in, and Tennessee stumbled a little bit. That's why the score was only 25. But Coach Heupel is a good coach, and he did what I've just been talking about for 5 minutes. He adjusted. He's seen what he was getting, not just something on a piece of paper that you just hold up there. Okay, here's our play here. Well, that ain't what the paper says. We have to do. Put that down. Look, what's going on the field? Let's watch this play. Where's the line of scrimmage? Are they moving our line back? How's these guys playing? Are they running inside out? Are they stunting and stuff? Moving stuff around? Because like Georgia, they're going to disguise a lot of stuff. Kirby's good at that. That's what he's always known for. You'll see something, and you'll get something totally different. Then when they line up that way again, you're like, oh, okay, last time they did this. And they do it again. Oh, no, he didn't twist this time. He just rushed the guy straight off the edge. He didn't run a twist, come back in. Well, there's something else I got to think about. That's why Georgia's hard to beat. I think Bama had their number because Nick knew kind of what he's going to do. And we're going to find out Saturday. No knock on Georgia, but we're going to find out Saturday if this old defensive play calling has run its course. And it wouldn't ever necessarily Nick, which it is because he can recruit. He gets good players. And good players, Jimmys and Joes win games. Is Kirby just a good coach that one year caught the conference on the right day, right time, and the right circumstances happened? I'm not saying not that Bama hadn't won games that way because you got to get lucky somewhere. You win that many games, bro, you get lucky. Bama blocked 2 field goals against Tennessee. That should never happen. Texas and Nebraska, they put a second back on the clock to give Colt McCoy another chance for them to even go to Rose Bowl and get beat by Bama. And their quarterback, he gets hurt. What's the chances of all that happening? It's crazy. Ain't that crazy? It's just strange how it all works out. So is Kirby – his people figured it out. I think like with Gus, the Gus bus just kind of got tired. I think the Gus bus got tired. I think people got tired of watching Auburn. It was just the same stuff, and people just call it the high school offense. Well, it worked. He won a title with it. He was calling with Gene Shiznick. Yeah, but he had Cam Newton, and their defense was solid. Nick Faraday and that group, they were good. Adjustment. Who's going to adjust, and who's going to blink first? You got 2 big programs headed straight at each other, playing chicken. Who's going to blink? Who's going to blink first, guys? Who's going to blink? You get games like these closer games, Louisville at Notre Dame. Hey, Notre Dame, offense, been doing okay. They going to blink? Kansas State just took a thumping from the men with many wives, BYU. Is Oklahoma State going to blink first? And last, Oklahoma at Auburn. These are 2 programs that Oklahoma is a very proud program. Won a lot of football games, won a lot of Sugar Bowls. Coach Stoops, last time they played Auburn, he won the game. It was his last game coached. Who's going to blink at Jordan-Hare Stadium? Who blinks at Jordan-Hare first Saturday? Somebody's got to lose the game. And it ain't Big 12 and SEC no more. This is an SEC rival game. What about that? Ain't that cool? All right. Give me your thoughts. Comment down there below. Tell me who you like. Jeff's He's got Oklahoma State. He's got He's got Utah, USC winning, Arkansas over A&M, and Boise State. And, of course, he's going to pick Ohio State. The old stink eyes. Who blinks? Who's going to adjust these games and make a change? You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Auburn just played old Jackson kid at quarterback. He's like their practice team guy. Oklahoma ain't prepared for him. Just come out there and be Orgy. Just be the quarterback Orgy from Michigan. Michigan, they just run the ball. They didn't even try to throw the ball. If you don't throw the ball, Auburn, you can't throw a pick. That's 100% fact. If you don't throw it, there will be no picks if there's no passes. Because that seems to be your problem. So you ask me, Auburn coaches, how do we eliminate our problem, Matt? We're calling you. This is Hugh Freeze. Hello? Yeah, just run the ball a lot. Yeah, that'd be fine. Run that play too. Yeah, just about 8 or 10 plays. All right. That's just that. Just run the ball. I think it'd solve a lot of stuff for Auburn. But what do I know? We'll find out Saturday night. Y'all come back Sunday for the full show at 6. But if you want to do some high school stuff, I'm going to try to be on Thursday. But I don't know how this crap's going to work out. I have no idea. This weather's – we've been invited by some other media people to come up to a game. And Thursday, Friday, I think I'm supposed to go with somebody to Scottsboro. Supposed to. I don't know how this is going to work out. This rain is a darn mess. Yeah, you got to ask Lou Holtz. Ask Nick Saban. You got to be lucky. You're not going to just go win games and games and games, national championships. Just not. No, you're going to be lucky somewhere. Somewhere along the way, the ball's going to bounce right. What was it, Iron Bowl 2010? Cam Newton, his only Iron Bowl there. Mark Ingram went fumbled the ball all year. He fumbles it in the Iron Bowl, and the ball rolls down the sideline perfectly like this. It was wobbling on the ends. That far from out of bounds. All I had to do is roll out of bounds. Bama keeps the ball. Auburn gets the ball. Scores won the game. It is a game of just luck. So, guys, if y'all are out Thursday night games or Friday night, y'all be careful. And right now, I think Starkey ought to be on. Average Joe's. Go over and check them out. Breaking down all the high school stuff around here. Go over and check them out. And y'all have a great evening. God bless you. Thank you for coming by and hanging out. All the people here. Seen had a pretty good crowd most of the night. It's good. I got a little long. I try to stay under an hour, but Bama and Auburn just kind of they've peed me off. I have. I don't understand some of this stuff. Bama, you got to get other guys the ball, and Auburn just run it. That's your last take for the night. All right, who blinks first? Who's going to adjust? And we'll see y'all Thursday night.